But Baker had no intention of disappearing quietly into the shadows of Caroline's life. He was set on revenge, and in order to cause maximum pain, his target was the people she loved. On the evening of the 28th of July, 1986, Alida Good, Caroline's mother, was at home. Lee Baker turned up at the front door. He'd ridden there on his elderly bicycle with drop handlebars. She let him in. Indeed, she offered him a cup of tea. He said he was there to wait for Caroline. It may have been true, but equally it may have been a ruse.
He'd been in an agitated state for quite a while before that. He'd been talking about taking revenge, killing Caroline and her mother, and doing all sorts of terrible things. And he'd seemed to be building up, this seemed to be bubbling up inside him, and he'd been talking about this for a while, and then finally, on the day, he went round to the house. It's extraordinary when you think about it that he turned up at the house in this kind of mood, and Alida Good just invited him for a cup of tea.
You might have thought that she would slam the door in his face, but she didn't. Alida Good had done nothing more than be hospitable to the young man who was her daughter's ex. She was demonstrating kindness. She paid with her life.
Baker stabbed Alida when her back was turned. He just did it impulsively. I don't think there was any particular precipitating argument. And she turned round astonished with the kind of, what are you doing? Why you do that? And he then impulsively drove forward and stabbed her multiple times.
Not content with taking Alida Good's life, brutally, violently, savagely, in her own house, he then takes her body, drags her body up the stairs. With ferocious anger, he meticulously, brutally and savagely cut Alida Good's head off, echoing those drawings he made as a younger man, and poses it in Caroline's bed, drawing the covers up so that it's almost as if she's asleep.
To actually decapitate a human being with the bones in the neck takes great effort, and also I would suggest some sort of expertise. So I think he learnt what bones to cut through to actually achieve decapitation.
His blazing intent was to make a massive impression on his ex-girlfriend. This has no real motive other than sadism. He must have enjoyed this process because there is no other motive.
Not content with killing Alida Good and decapitating her and posing her body, Lee Baker goes back downstairs and shoots the family dog, a Labrador, with the crossbow that he's had in his bag.
He's inherently a bully. He's inherently violent and sadistic. I think he shot the dog because it was there. I think those are the words he actually used. I think the dog just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time, and he gleefully probably shot the dog with a crossbow bolt.
It's impossible to imagine what was running through Lee Baker's mind as he made his way out of Alida Good's house. He sets a small fire. The house doesn't burn down, but smoke is certainly created.
I think setting the fire was probably an afterthought, because he'd created this magnificent scene in his mind at the most horrific detail, and then why set fire to minimise the effect that he'd already created? The fire had actually not gained control of the whole house, so the crime scene was still virtually intact.
As he left, he encountered none other than Caroline. All sorts of rumours have circulated about exactly what Lee Baker said to Caroline as he was riding away.
When he meets her in the street, he then starts taunting her about this. "You never guess whose house on fire," I think he said to her. And she said, "Whose?" And he said, "Yours." And then he said, "When you get back, you'll find your mother's head in your bedroom. And by the way, I've killed your doggy." So he was clearly, and she said at this point as well, he's smirking. I mean, the depths of his sadism towards us just seems beyond imagination, really. He's clearly really trying to hurt her.
Baker at this point isn't trying to cover anything up. He's actually confessed this instantly. He's actually proud of what he's done. He thinks of it as some kind of aggressive achievement that she should be in fear of, and she should come running back to him because he is that kind of leading warrior who, is fearless and can do anything and is dangerous, and you should be with him. I don't think it's going to work.
Caroline Good was extremely lucky to escape with her life, because after all, if he could kill the mother, why could he not kill her daughter, the woman who had jilted him?
I think in a way his relationship with Caroline was still very strong, but he realised in a way that he'd ruined it, and perhaps by not actually hurting her but hurting everyone around her, she would just be hurt and realise how much she'd hurt him, perhaps.
It was the ultimate revenge on a young woman who'd done nothing more than actually fall for Lee Baker. But Baker's anger was now so deep-seated and so out of control, it would drive him into further acts of senseless violence.